So you're acting now?
Yeah, I work steady. In fact, I just got off the job.
That's great, MJ. You're doing it. You're living your dream.
Oh my god, MJ! Hey, MJ! Oh, it was great seeing you in the meeting. Good point about Andrew Garfield being the sexiest Spider-Man. I totally agreed with you there. MJ! MJ, can you hear me? MJ! 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 Alright, I'll see you on the next one. That's a nice friend you got there. Alright, see you, buddy. See you. Hello, Spider-Man fans! It is a spectacular day in the neighborhood when we get to talk some Spider-Man 3 news. It has been a little bit of a while, but we have got some juicy news to feast on. Oh, you haven't heard the news yet, so that joke didn't make sense. We're going to talk about Feast, but specifically what we're going to be talking about today with Spider-Man 3 is we've gotten some set photos that have released online from the set of Spider-Man 3, one of a familiar location that's kind of become a big deal not only in the video games but has been in the comics that could possibly be our biggest hint to Miles Morales. Not just that, we also have a person that everyone and their mother is saying is Miles Morales in a mocap suit that'll eventually be CGI'd into his iconic black suit. We're going to dive into that along with other details concerning Spider-Man 3, but I'm gonna need you Spider-Man fans, leave me your opinions down below. Are you still unbelievably hyped for this movie? Can you believe we still don't know the title? How come we don't got any footage of this thing? And as of right now, it has still not been delayed, so we're still getting it 2021, okay? Let's just have that hope in our hearts, as well as don't be forgetting to hit that like button if you're enjoying the Spider-Man updates. Alright, so before diving into these set photos concerning Spider-Man 3, I think one piece of news that's gonna make a lot of Spider-Man fans super happy, and that's concerning good old Doc Ock. We basically had Zendaya, who plays the character of MJ, recently doing an interview on Actors with Actors for Variety. And in this interview, she basically confirms Alfred Molina, Doctor Octopus, who played him in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, has been on set for Spider-Man 3. I'm just gonna roll the clip.
Having different amazing people basically on a daily basis, like Alfred Molina and then Molly Shannon and then Connie Britton.
Who's so nice, by the way.
So nice. That's the thing. All the nicest people in the industry playing these sort of really suspect people.
Yeah.
You heard it right there. Zendaya herself said Alfred Molina is one of the nicest people that she's ever worked with. And I don't see any other projects on her IMDb where she could have been on set with Alfred Molina enough to meet him. I think that's all the confirmation we need that we are for sure getting him. All that's left to know is how exactly they're going to pull that off, how they're going to explain his character coming in. Is he being pulled out of the Sam Raimi universe, or is he just the multiverse version of Tom Holland's Doctor Octopus that happens to look exactly like the one we got in Sam Raimi's universe? That's the kind of theory that we're going with, especially since Jamie Foxx Electro has told us before already that his version of Electro in Spider-Man 3 will not be blue, leading to the theory that he's an alternate reality version of the character he's once already played. So that's something I just wanted to bring up because that's awesome to know. Final confirmation we need. Just who knows if Kraven's still in there or all these other villains that have gotten rumored. Dane DeHaan already went ahead and debunked that he's in the movie. So the rest of you tallywhackers out there need to come out too and say whether you're in it or not. But now getting to these Spider-Man 3 set photos, they are currently still shooting Spider-Man. And in fact, when Zendaya was over there interviewed by Variety, she did mention they still have a lot left to go with Spider-Man, that they're basically almost halfway done. So we got so much more left to go with this movie. And one photo right now that's causing a lot of stir is this one right here of a moving vehicle with the logo entitled Feast, that stands for Food Emergency Aid, Shelter, and Training. This is a homeless shelter that has appeared in Spider-Man comic books, but most famously right now, it has appeared in the Spider-Man video games on the PS4, where Peter Parker himself was working at this shelter, volunteering, helping out as much as he could, only to find out that the owner of that shelter was a bad guy, and so much more craziness right there. But most recently, it's also become the place synonymous with Miles Morales, because in his video game, he also ends up volunteering and helping out with that shelter in his community of Harlem where he lives. And I hope this doesn't come off sounding like I'm an idiot, but if it does, feel free to bag on me in the comments section. But even just looking at this right here with the type of cars in front of them and the graffiti on the car, this seems to me like this homeless shelter is not in the best part of town. And most recently in the comics, the video games, and everything concerning Miles Morales, they have stuck his Spider-Man in the parts of New York City that are filled with a lot more crime or a lot more gritty compared to where they put Peter Parker nowadays. nowadays. Pairing that up now with the other set photo that is driving fans crazy of some people who are working on the set of Spider-Man, and one character in particular that, yes, appears to be African-American from this photo, has a similar hairstyle to Miles Morales and is wearing a traditional mocap suit that with some movie magic and CGI, that basically can turn into anything. That could be a Spider-Man suit, or that could be the Chitauri coming back in Spider-Man 3 for some reason. We've seen this a lot with fans where they see a person that definitely fits the persona that they're going with physically, but I really want you guys to think about it. If this guy was actually playing Miles Morales, he would not be able to freely walk the streets on the set of Spider-Man 3, especially in a public place where people can take photos. This person would be hidden, would be covered by umbrellas. They would not let you see that this guy is existing in the movie. The most reasonable explanation to this is something that Zendaya went ahead and said in a Variety interview, where she went ahead and said what it was like filming Spider-Man 3, where she said, "These things go by so fast. We still have a lot left to do. It's like running from aliens and things you can't see. Part of that is kind of the fun. A lot of what we do is escapism, just to be able to play a teenager again." The part I want you guys to focus on is where she says it's like running from aliens and things you can't see. What she basically means is her as an actress has to go ahead and pretend that whatever this guy is wearing in that mocap suit, she's fearing for her life, because it looks like Spider-Man 3 is bringing in some sort of villain or enemy that requires a whole bunch of CGI and mocap work. My mind is completely blown to what it could be. I mean, if they're bringing in the multiverse here, and since we know WandaVision, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and Spider-Man 3 are all a loosely connected trilogy, Marvel fans are thinking that by the end of WandaVision, there is just some multiverse reality breaking where we have different universes coming in, bringing you back to those missing posters that we've been seeing on the set of Spider-Man 3 where people are disappearing. This could be the explanation why we're going to get so many cameos involving a bunch of different Spider-Man villains from different universes, the introduction of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and whoever this thing is that happens to be maybe a different creature from the multiverse. I mean, Zendaya says it right there that it's like running from aliens. I don't actually think she means aliens, but it's some sort of creature that doesn't seem to be human pouring in from the multiverse. My mind would hope it's a symbiote. The photo to me that really seems like we're going to be talking about Miles Morales is that feast photo. And some of you might have already been thinking or typed it up in the comment section like, "Chris, didn't you watch Far From Home? Aunt May works at a homeless shelter. That's Feast right there. This isn't news." Oh, sit your high horse down. I thought the exact same thing, so I went back to watch that section of Spider-Man Far From Home where Aunt May brings in Spider-Man to a homeless shelter and helps out, and through that entire sequence, that building, that place, that location is not named Feast, and Aunt May isn't currently working at Feast. I mean, you can see right here, the building does not say that. Even on the inside, doesn't say that either. Even when Happy Hogan is coming in with the check, the very few words you can make out of who that check is going to does not say Feast. So maybe Aunt May switches to a different homeless shelter, and maybe at this homeless shelter where there's people in need, that's where Peter Parker can encounter Miles Morales. Probably another volunteer worker there takes him under his wing. I mean, that's what happened in the Spider-Man video game with this Peter Parker, where he brought in Miles Morales to mentor. I think Feast could be the key to the introduction for Miles Morales, because I still haven't forgotten that little Easter egg they threw in Spider-Man Homecoming, that now that we're on the third movie concluding this trilogy off, they have to come back to that Easter egg that Donald Glover is the Prowler and his nephew Miles is out there. Given the 5-year jump and the couple of years, whether he was snapped away or not, the kid would be old enough to take up that role of Spider-Man. But really, that's just what I've gathered so far with these set photos and these little bits of details. I want to know your guys' thoughts and theories out there. Are you still looking forward to Spider-Man 3, or are you more looking forward to Venom 2 that's also going to be featuring Carnage? Oh, you don't want to know what else I got back here, man. As always, be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.